Welcome back to Ladies Who Create, a show where we'll be interviewing the incredibly inspiring women who are trailblazing the design and creative industries. I'm your co-host, Liz Meyer, a creative director and half of a Datalands duo.
And I'm your other co-host, Jess Rosenberg, and I'm a creative director currently working in the tech industry.
Today, we have a very special episode of Ladies Who Create. We are welcoming live Jessica Hische. You may know Jess as your favorite lettering artist, an incredibly motivational speaker about design, from her amazingly helpful online course, The Dark Art of Pricing, or from one of her many children's books. Recording live from Config, Figma's conference for people who make design products, we talk about her early career as a designer, how she got her start, and about how the spirit of generosity propels her and the rest of the design community forward. We are so excited to share this episode with you all, our finale for season 1. So welcome, Jessica Hische, to the show.
So this is going to be fast and loose also.
Yeah.
I love the theme. It's a theme for the day.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Well, I appeared fast and loose on stage, but I had to rehearse that talk many times as a part of participating in this conference.
I'm sure I heard like 4 times.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 times. It was pretty legit.
But you've done that talk before.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But normally I'm like, I don't want to rehearse it. It's sort of like I want to walk on stage and be like, I'm fresh, I'm excited, it's like the first time, but no, it was good.
No, that's awesome. You were really funny.
Thank you. It's because I just do all of this to be a stand-up comedian someday.
That's what it seemed like. Have you done improv?
I have.
Are we starting? Let's get into it. I was just worried that we weren't capturing this great part of the conversation.
See, no, I need to move this to them. Yeah, I have not done improv. I feel like all my comedy material is so extremely specific toward graphic design and typography that it just slays in certain crowds and on other people would just not understand it.
I feel like I was listening to you basically be my teacher at Cooper Type. I was like, oh my God, she listened to everything that we learned at Cooper Type.
Yeah.
And I've not retained any of it, but now I'm remembering all the content.
You don't have to practically use it during the day. Whereas for me, it's just pretty easy to retain data that you have to use over and over again all day long. So
it was honestly an education in itself.
Yeah, it was really cool. And the fact that you're able to be really funny doing it and so many laughs. And do you practice you mentioned, you said you didn't practice the talk too many times, but do you run your jokes by people to see if they land?
It's funny. I don't really, but I have given talks. This was the first time I ever gave this one.
Yeah.
But I gave a talk recently and I was like, I need to add 10 more jokes to this talk because I was there's some dry periods. I don't want people to be alive while I talk at them for an hour. Because I tend, it's a big challenge for me to talk for less than 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I can just ramble on and on forever.
I know, and that's why I love you.
Yeah. Well, it's very narcissistic. I just love the sound of my voice. It's so bad.
And I think that is I also love the sound of my own voice. And when I get to talk to you, I'm like, I actually want to hear her voice more than mine. So that's wonderful. It's that's the narcissist dilemma there.
Yeah. We should write a book.
Ooh, that's a great title too.
It is a good title.
No one can steal that.
Will an actual narcissist buy it?
Absolutely not. No actual narcissist is will admit that they're
exactly.
That's how we know we're not actually narcissists because narcissists will not say they're narcissists.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit. It's a little bit.
Maybe there's only a range.
Only if they see it as a positive. They're just I'm adding this to my CV because this benefits me to acknowledge my narcissism.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so. That's it. So, okay, tell me. So we were talking as a backstory. Jess Hische and I have known each other for quite some time now.
A long while.
So we were talking a few months ago and I was expressing nervousness about speaking in public and you told me a very interesting tidbit and I would love for you to share. You don't remember it.
I don't remember.
But
you got to tell me what the tidbit is.
The tidbit is that when you go up on stage, you just kind of it happens. The talk just happens. You don't prep, you don't take a drink. You don't take any medicine. Which I assumed everyone had to, but you just go for it.
So to bring it back to comedy, there's this thing that I learned about that comedians talk about, which is stage health. And it's sort of like when your body is about to fall apart, because being an entertainer means you're doing a lot of things that make your body fall apart. And you walk on stage, and then all of a sudden you get so much adrenaline pumping through you that you feel like $1 million. You know, it's just like, you're just like, oh my God, I'm ready to go. That cold that I thought was coming on is gone, like all that stuff. And so you have to be receptive to the adrenaline rush to then get into that like really intense, clear-minded, it's sort of like forcing your body into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And then when you walk off stage, like you either completely dissolve and crumple back into your bad health, or if you were like in a pretty good spot, you can like ride off the adrenaline. You still get pretty drained because you just like pumped your body full of a bunch of cortisol and adrenaline. But it's like in that moment, it's sort of like if there's a crisis and you like the people that like lift a car in a crisis and they're like, I don't remember doing that, you know? You walk, if you had a really good talk, you walk off stage and go, I hope I said something interesting because I don't remember at all what that was. It seemed like people liked it.
Do you feel like you're ready to just like run a marathon afterwards? Like
a little bit.
Feel
like
that
I definitely feel super kicked up.
Yeah.
Like part of that is because I'm an extrovert too. And did you guys watch What We Do in the Shadows?
I was watching that, the movie, and I started watching the TV show.
Is so fucking good.
I know.
But I love the idea of the energy vampire.
Oh,
and I feel like on stage, I'm not like an energy vampire draining the crowd, but I feel like the power of 1,000 suns coursing through my veins from like having the crowd like pump me up full of their energy. And so I leave the stage like just shooting laser beams out of every orifice because I just have so much crowd power. Amazing. And then eventually it just all starts to dissipate, and then you're like, into like, I'm like, I need to lay down now. You know, like it's time to crawl into a hole.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so funny. I just started watching that, and that's
just an amazing. That is me
in like the best way.
I've had to control it though, because like Russ will, like my husband, will see me just sort of like getting all like jacked up on other people's energy, and he's like, take it down a notch.
Don't take all of the
it's not, I'm not, it's almost like a multiplier though. It's not like I'm taking the essence. It's like people are putting the essence out, and then it's like it gets sucked into me and multiplied, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, you know, like this chaotic, coked up like extrovert.
It's like literal electricity.
It's literally, it's like, I'm totally one of those weird, like I don't have much woo-woo to me. Like I have a little bit of woo-woo, but I definitely am like, we share energy. I can like say a thing and someone else like can feel it like 10 miles away or whatever. I totally kind of get in on that. And it's just because like, you know, I was watching Oppenheimer, and I watched it. I tend to watch the same movie a lot of times, you know, just because I think that's like an ADHD thing or something.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so there was a scene in it that was totally a throwaway scene that someone was asking him like to describe, you know, like what he does or like whatever, like neurophysicist, whatever. And he's like, well, see your hand, like you see it as a solid, but all of this is a mirage, and we're all just these atoms like loosely conglomerated together, and nothing is solid. And I was like, I believe this is my religion, you know. It's like we're all just sharing particles. Yeah.
Hey, there's truth to that though.
Yeah, totally.
Beautiful. Like wedding vow kind of
I know.
stuff.
Oh, exactly. And I'm very like receptive to other people's energy. So it used to be a problem where like other people could fuck with my energy field too easily, and now I feel like I've got like some pretty good energy boundaries.
I always felt like you would enter you'd enter a room and like everyone would be drawn to you, like, and in like a good way.
The reason for that, because my youngest has this, and like my oldest is amazing. She's like superhuman.
Yeah.
But she is so much similar to my husband, where she's got this like really rich internal life and does not want to let people know what's going on the inside. Whereas my littlest, whose birthday is today,
and so excited,
very exciting. He like literally walks into a room and makes eye contact with absolutely everyone there, and smiles at people and looks people right in the face, like just constantly.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a totally different way to be.
Yeah.
And my oldest was like, how come people treat George differently? And I was like, because he literally just smiles at everyone. Like, and so when people have like charisma or like do that, the only thing that they're doing is like making a point, whether they do it unconsciously or consciously, to like physically connect with people when they walk into a space.
And make them feel seen. Which probably gets a reaction, you know.
I mean, most people just are so not used to being listened to. Like, you know Brian Ray, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So Brian Ray is this illustrator, and he worked for the Times for a while. I have never met someone who is better at listening than Brian Ray, to the point where, like, do you guys remember True Blood? Now I'm talking about all vampires. All vampire podcasts.
About all of them.
Yes. And so, like, on True Blood, there was, like, the idea of, like, glamoring.
Yeah.
Where, like, a vampire would glamour you.
Yeah.
And as a person, in order to glamour, you just have to be an incredible listener, because people are just not used to people being comfortable not breaking eye contact.
That's
you know, they're just like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm all about whatever it is that you're saying.
As you're saying that, I'm like,
Yeah.
You're learning.
Yeah. And Brian is like chief glamorer. Like, you talk to him and you're just like, we're in love with each other. Everybody's running away together. We're starting a new society. You know, like, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know. I feel like you do that really, really well though too. Like
That's just because I like people though.
I just remember the first time I met you, it was like you were there and then you were talking to me and I was like, I'm obsessed with this person. I'm like in a totally normal way.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Totally normal. But I think it's like, I just feel really lucky because obviously making connections with people is super beneficial, like as a personal thing for like being a person in the world.
yeah, totally.
And some people have to like train themselves really hard to care about that.
Yeah.
You know, to like bring people into their circle because they feel overwhelmed. They feel like I have too many relationships to manage already.
Yeah.
And also, like, you know, for me, I am moving towards ambivertness, but I've been like a really intense extrovert like my whole life, where it really does bring me so much joy meeting strangers. Like, I'm just like, stranger. Like, you know, it's like it's like drugs. It's like stranger time for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta go talk to strangers now. And like the funniest story, I could tell you a funny story about this.
Please.
So we were down in Palm Springs at like the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs. And I was there with my husband. It was like a trip away from the kids, you know, whatever. And we were in the pool all day. And then at like 2 or 3 o'clock, he was like, I'm going to go back to the room and just chill out. It's been like a lot of fun. And I was like, not me. I'm going to go talk to strangers now. And so, so I was in the pool and it was just like a bunch of groups of people. You know, there's like bachelorette parties and there's this. And there was a group of, I talked to some bachelorettes for a minute. And then I talked to like a group of like elder gays. And that was great.
Nice.
And then I have 2 really good Palm Springs stories that are this exact story in different ways. Palm Springs is apparently where I meet all the people. And so I went up to this group of people they all seemed like kind of my age and like tattooed and whatever. And it was somebody's 40th birthday party. And I just started talking to them. They're all from like South Jersey. And we had this Philly South Jersey thing. And so like I bust into our hotel room at like 4:30 and I'm just like, Russ, we're going out to dinner for someone's 40th birthday party. And so like they basically like invited me along. And then he was just like, I'm doing this as a gift to you. I will join you.
Sweet.
I know, because that's not his vibe at all.
I can't imagine Gavin.
But yeah, like all of a sudden it was like me and Russ, like 2 random people.
And a bunch of women.
And no, it wasn't women. It was mixed. It was mixed bag. It was just like this group of friends.
Yeah.
And we were at this Mexican restaurant with like 20 people having a celebratory dinner with. Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
No.
Unless I have like a few drinks in me on vacation, I'll talk to like anyone. But normally I'm just like, I'm an observer. I've always been like, as a kid, I would just like look around and like watch people and observe them. And
I feel like I'm a mix.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I'm with you, I'm just like in awe of how you can manage like talking to everyone, having everyone walk up to you. But when I come into like an environment like this, I'm like, who am I going to meet? Do I know that person? Oh, yeah. And then I go like run to them and I hug them and I'm like, this is so good. But then I go back to my hotel room and I'm like, I went to sleep at 8 o'clock last night.
That's because you're an introvert.
But what am I?
You get powered down by people.
Yeah.
You
start. So I have a gal pal who I love, and she and I have amazing, fun, chaotic energy when we're together.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, that's because I trust you and I like you, and so
okay.
I seem like that to you, but to everyone else, I'm totally different.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, that's the whole introvert extrovert thing is like either you get powered up by people or you get powered down.
Yeah. I
And
don't know.
so-
It's so strange.
Yeah. It's
like
so
weird.
it's so chemical though.
yeah, it is. It's very situational for me. Like here, I'm like this. Out here is too much.
Yeah.
But if it was like a room with a few people, I can easily go up to them and be like, hey, like, what's your name? How are you doing? But this, I'm just like,
But that's the thing. I like this.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, this is like the lost in a crowd situation, which is nice. It's
yeah.
kind of like New York
No,
City.
but I'm like, I know I'm going to see someone I know and I'm going to like run up to them and give them a big old hug.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Yeah.
acting. It's
Yeah.
like you're here and you're like, I'm not a real person.
Yeah.
I'm just part of the mix
I'm
here. And I
party
can
mode,
act
Liz.
as weird as
Party
I
mode,
need
Liz.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if I were to have like bring Gavin, you know, that would be different.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he
No,
would
no.
be
You
like,
have to be alone. That's the
Yeah.
only way to meet people is
I'm
to be
just-
alone.
yeah.
I don't know. And it's like party time.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. And he's like, who are you? Who did I make?
Yeah, and that's embarrassing. There is some embarrassment to it. Anyway, but like one thing I love about you is how you can make friends with literally anybody and just kind of like find a person and then bring them in. I feel like that's what you do with me when we first met and I was like a student. I just feel like you have this like power where you make people feel so good about who they are. And stop. I was actually telling Jess, I was like, I don't know if I should talk about this because I might cry about it. It's like, hey, it's like you have the power to change people's lives. And
I think
it's beautiful.
I understand that. You know, I think it's like, I think I'm super nostalgic as a person. It's like problematic sometimes.
Yeah.
But I see nostalgia as being a positive for me because what I do is I just feel like I'm really in touch with myself at younger, different ages. And so when I experience something or I see someone experience something, I haven't lost sight of what it was like to experience it for the first time. Or like, you know, so when like Russ and I built this website, like Don't Fear the Internet, like he is not super nostalgic. And was like, let's do this. And I was like, let's teach people to make the links not blue, you know, because I just remember that being such an unlock.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was starting out in my design career, you know, like I had all these crazy opportunities because of like working for Louise and getting introduced to all these crazy people. And I remember the first couple times that like I got to put someone else's phone number that's like a famous person in my phone. And I was just like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, it was so wild. And I think most people don't understand how like a small gesture like that is so enormous.
Totally.
And also most people don't trust that people will not be psychopaths, you know? But I think it's like with the whole sharing and not to woo it up again, but like
the woo-woo stuff.
humans, our bodies are built to sense like disruption.
Yeah.
And sometimes you meet people and they do give you like a I feel unsafe around you situation. And you're not going to be the one like, here, let me give you my address and phone number to like that person.
Right.
But most people just even in the light, like 30-second interaction that you have with them, you have this like, oh, you're fine. We understand, like whatever.
Totally.
And then that's the person that you can be like, let's go to Target together. You know?
After the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
We like literally the day after we met, we went on a road trip to the coast of Oregon.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Like we were in Portland, and Jess was like, "So you're coming, right? You're coming to this was like this hike."
Yeah.
We went on a hike, and I was like,
my favorite thing though is when we
right now.
my favorite thing was when we went to the arcade though.
I was not invited to that.
No, I'm pretty sure that you were invited, but
I was not.
I did not have the van. I like the van was not mine. I was brought around.
you're in the van.
I'm not going to name any names, but someone was in charge of the van, and that someone did not.
Okay, well that was an oversight.
Sounds like you missed
okay.
a good time.
But I feel like you were there.
I am now.
So here,
I was happy to not go because I was like, I am doing too much. I am fangirling over this person who is like a year older than me. Like, I feel like I'm like too in her face right now. So I was like, let's give her some space. Let's not be a total weirdo. I will do anything she wants me to do, but I will not overstep.
well, I don't know. It's hard to overstep with me. So.
I know. Now I know that after 10 years.
I know. I like so I never got to do this. I kind of kept it in my back pocket. But when Sagmeister was raising money for the Happy Film, they had these like Kickstarter rewards, and most of them were super normal. It was like, you get a copy of the film, like whatever. Yeah. But he had 2 rewards at the top that were like $500 contributions. And I forget what the second one was, but one of them was like a dinner or something. And one of them was, we will rent a red sports car and drive around Manhattan listening to rock and roll music together. Whoa. And I knew him at that point. We had like hung out at conferences, but I was like, that's fucking genius. Bye. And so like, so I did that because I wasn't going to do it myself because I had like hung out with him. But I was like, this would be so fun to randomly gift to someone else. And so I was just, I haven't done it still. So I need to like reach out to him and be like, you owe me.
Yeah. 9 years.
It was a very long time ago, but I feel like I'd be like, hey, let's find a design student and do it. Yeah. Because that was sort of my thing was I was just like, to me, this is like, I mean, it would be cool and awesome, but it would be like, oh, I just hung out with that guy at a conference last month. Yeah. But I was just like, if we can find someone that's like a super fan and just let them experience that, I was like, that would be so fun.
That's like career milestone. They will always remember that.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody posted, I saw this on like Threads or something the other day, and it was a person in the UK was wearing like an Eagles like shirt, and like the Kelsey brother that is on the Eagles like ran up to them and like took a photo with them, and someone commented like, this kid's life is going to now be judged before this moment and after this moment. It's going to be these 2 terms. Yeah. And that's so cool. It's so powerful, you know, and it's hard to not want to do that if it's like free and cheap to do. Exactly. You know, I'm just like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I think that's like a really interesting point because it's not just like, you know, I'm not going to make you feel weird, but like not just the celebrity designers that have the power. It's like anyone that has any sort of a position of power where like a student reaches out, like does not necessarily like ask a favor, but just ask an opinion or something. Like you can literally change someone's life by just being like nice.
Just being not dismissive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like even in like career sort of things, like at Config, if someone walks up to you, just be like nice to that person and be like, I know we don't know each other, but it was great to meet you, and follow me on Instagram and we'll DM whatever. I don't know. It's just like a nice, be kind, connecting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also too, like if you're in any industry for any amount of time, you just understand that like, one, you should always have this feeling, whether or not it serves you, is just like every single person that you ever meet in your life has value. You know, there's no one that is not someone that might in the future become someone of influence in your life. Right. You know, like literally everyone. Yeah. And I mean, you can approach that as like a tactical thing where you're being strategic. Yeah. Or you're just like, you know what? I am not going to judge anyone based on whatever situation they're currently in. Because like there, you know, everybody goes through different times, everybody's at different stages, and then all of a sudden we're all like, if we all stick around in design, like it's tough to stick around. Oh, totally. You're going to see them in like 20 years and be like, hey, we're buddies now.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Today you're on the ground floor. Tomorrow you're in the leadership.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah. Or even not. It's like without having that motive, just like be kind and friendly to people, and that's all you have to do.
It doesn't have to be a motive. I think it's also like it's so tied into whatever your sort of like spiritual system is. Yeah. You know, like there's people that do things because they don't want to be punished for not doing this. And then there's people that do things just because they understand that if everybody puts good stuff into the world is better. Yeah. You know, and that also just like, I think for me, a lot of it comes from not being a big picture thinker. You know, like honestly, because people like, when people are like, I'm going to change the world, and then they think about like really complicated problems, and they actually are super ambitious about it and go for it. And there's a lot of those people here, you know, like people that like can actually do global shit,
like product people.
Yeah. And that's just like, I don't think that way. Like I can't think that way. To me, it's just like, I look at what's around me and I'm like, this way, or whatever. And understanding that there's like, you attack a problem from 2 different sides. You can do it from the top down or you can do it from the bottom up. And it's just so much more accessible to do it from the bottom up. So it's just like, you can change the world by like trying to break systems and like you know, whatever, like doing it in this like big, massive global way. Or you can just do it by just like not being a dick, you know, just like making everyone around you have a good time.
And like,
you know?
in the end, I feel like people will more so remember those who are kind and like friendly and approachable, regardless of what they end up achieving.
Yeah.
You know?
No, totally. I mean, everyone will tell you that if you're looking for like an actual in-person job in design, which there's less of those these days, you know, a lot of it's remote, but all people want is someone that they like spending time with.
Yeah, for sure.
And like talent can be taught. You know, there's certain amounts of it that it's just like, if you have no rhythm, you'll never be a drummer. Sure.
Yeah.
But like most of being a designer is stuff that can be like acquired skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like in terms of being a good hang, that's like, that's the thing that you just kind of really focus on.
The chemistry, the personality.
I mean, I know that recent, you know, you guys know my recent journey. I'm not publicly talking about that. But like, it's talking to so many people I hadn't spoken to before, like as part of my studio, and then starting to speak to people that were in like these really high positions of power, and realizing that I had something interesting to say and that I would like to contribute to a bigger picture, and I would like to be part of these bigger systems. It's very interesting because a lot of the people that are in these companies now, I knew them when they were like students.
Totally.
People reached out to like myself or like Gavin, my partner, like 10 years ago, stuff like that. Like, hey, can we visit the pencil factory? And I, you know, sometimes I wouldn't respond, which is rude. And now like thinking back, it's rude. But, you know, there's like a humbleness to it, like where you can just be like, not strategic, not saying like, I want to say hi to this person because they're gonna turn into like director of marketing.
And people sense that if you are coming at it from that way. It's so yucky. It's like when people, you're in a super transactional conversation with people, and it's so much more just about like them trying to siphon off as much as they can from you versus it being this like collaborative, fun experience. You know,
I had a couple experiences like that at Config. The day zero, like at the Commons, this lovely woman walked up to me. She commented on my nails. I'm like, oh, like she's friendly. I'm like standing there by myself, like not knowing anyone. And then she starts like hardcore pitching me her startup. And I was like, oh, you came over here to pitch me. I thought you were just being nice, you know?
Totally. I spoke at a conference once in New Orleans. That was this huge web conference.
Yeah.
And I was like one of the few non like CEO, C-suite kind of people there, like talking about their startups and whatever. But I brought all these pins, like these enamel pins with me, and they just said badass, right? And I was just like, oh, I don't have any business cards, so I'm just going to like bring these. And if I meet someone I like them, I'm just going to be
I love it.
And so every person that I met, I'd be like, and you get a pin. And I'd give it to them, and they would look at the pin and go like, oh, is this your company? And I'm like, no, I just like you. And then they were like, I want to know more about you. Like, they were so disarmed.
Use them beyond.
No, exactly. I think when you're so used to being sold to, when you actually have a real genuine experience with people, they truly become so memorable.
Oh, for sure.
And so it really, and I tell, you know, when people ask me that are young folks, like figuring out like, how do you break through? Like, how do you talk to people, whatever. And I was like, the only thing you have to do is just show up and be chill.
Yeah.
And you do that again and again and again. You basically just introduce yourself into someone's world via either their inbox or their DMs. And you have to be very non-aggressive and normal.
Yeah.
And don't ask them for anything.
Right.
Have nothing that you need from them.
Right.
And then just consistently show up. And then when you do want to ask them something for real, you're a familiar base. And they're much more likely to be like, you have proven that you're not a crazy person. So therefore, I will give you 5 minutes of my time.
Yeah. It really does work.
I think I used to be really nervous, like living in Brooklyn and being part of the pencil factory. It would become like a networking hub. And then people would come into the studio and be like, hey, what are you working on? Do you ever need any designers? And I'd be like, oh, no, we need work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. It's so funny because I feel like I obviously get to work on a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But my work schedule is like extremely chill because like I don't work on the weekends and I don't like working at night pretty often. And you guys know how it is when you're working on a lot of projects. You have to like keep it so that your schedule is like 80% full instead of 100% full.
Yeah.
Because if it's 100% full, that kind of tips over to 150% full, like really quickly.
Yeah.
And then and then like people's schedules shift, and then all of a sudden everything is on top of each other.
Yeah.
And so like so much of my time is like sort of open when I'm doing all the admin junky stuff I have to do anyway.
Yeah.
But I've had conversations with designers like recently, and they come at me with such crazy energy, just being like, oh, what are you working on? Oh, we're working on this. And like they list out all of this stuff. And I was like,
Oh my God.
whoa, like,
You're like, how are you doing so?
it was also just like, it had been so long since I had someone that was basically pitching me about how awesome they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, was I like this in the past? I don't think I was like
you
this.
weren't.
But it's
Never.
it's such a different thing.
It was like so prevalent where we were, you know, we had a studio together for a while, and like it just like the community of people, it was like, let's try to one up each other. Let's do it. Let's no, we're at 47.
Oh yeah,
Let's
great.
cut that out. I'm gonna cut that in post, guys. No, like there was so much energy about like, oh, I need to prove that I'm worthy of being in this building with you. I am a pencil factory person. It's not like it's a bad thing. It was never a bad thing. It was a fun thing that like all your friends were doing so much work, but it was like,
I think,
oh my God, I gotta do more.
No, I feel like that none of it was coming external, and it was all internal. And it was just
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
because I think it was all of us being like, I want to feel like I deserve to be here. But like none of the other people were like looking at your work being like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't know what anyone was working. I didn't see anything, but like I knew they were. Yeah. But it was like those holiday parties where like all these people would come in and be like, let me tell you about all this stuff I did. Here's a clippings. My last clipping.
That's weird.
Yeah, like from magazine. No, people would bring them to them.
That's weird.
I know. But you were never like that. So, and that's, you're solidified as like one of the most normal extroverted people I've ever met. So that's good. So, okay. Tell the audience a little bit about, you have 3 children.
Yeah.
You have your thriving career. You're thriving Jessica Hische Incorporated. You have 2 stores.
I do have 2 stores.
Best-selling author.
Best-selling author. I mean,
We're
oh my
just
God.
going through the presentation.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
thanks.
it's wild. Like how you handle it all. I have 1 child. It's
Occasionally, you know, generally it's fine. But occasionally I'll just have one of those days where I just feel so overwhelmed. And it's mostly because it's never because of work. It's always because there's some random interpersonal thing that has picked me up.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, don't they know I'm already doing so much?
Yeah.
You know, don't they understand that I'm doing my best?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show up and do my best, you know?
Yeah.
And so every now and then I'll kind of have one of those freakouts where I'm just like, this is really a lot. And I can't let one person even just like pull the Jenga tile out from underneath me. And those days definitely happen.
That's a really good visual.
Yeah.
That's like,
I know. That's really, I'm going to have to use that. I have 4 kids and I can totally relate. It's like, I don't know if you feel this way, but there's always something happening with at least one of them at any given moment where it's like someone gets a snack, or someone pooped on the floor, or someone like is cuddling with the dog on, you know, wherever.
They're funny though, because I'll be like, guys, you need to just not talk at me for like a minute.
Yeah. No, I feel that way sometimes.
it's almost harder though, I think, with my one, because she will come up to me and want to talk, and I'm like, I cannot do this right now. I love you, but I need a minute.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? You know, and there's nothing else to entertain.
I know. Yeah.
The multi-kids does make it easy.
Yeah. It's a good,
Just pawn them off to play with each other.
Good
and be like,
advertisement.
"Oh, go play upstairs. Be gone."
This episode brought to you by multiple children.
Or do your kids all hang out together? Or are they old
They
enough?
do. They're
yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they all have very different personalities, so they get along really well because they're all really different.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jess and Jess,
Yes.
because we never addressed that.
The
Jesses.
Obviously, like the 1980s, early
No.
1980s.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is so cool. And you just had like that amazing talk, and then you're like jumped into this podcast booth with us.
Oh, man. I had a banana in between. I feel great.
Oh my God.
I'm a banana gal.
Banana gal. And your lipstick looks so good.
Oh, thanks. It feels disgusting. It's starting to feel that like clumpy.
I love it. I think it's great.
So what are you guys doing later?
I have to go home because it's Jordy's birthday.
Oh, right. Duh.
So I have to go make box mac and cheese, which is what he requested for his birthday meal.
Does he want Kraft mac and cheese or good old?
No, he hates the good.
Oh, really? Greta's obsessed.
No, it's a flavor. It's flavor blasted too much.
Oh, yeah. She did say, I only do half a bag of the flavor.
That is good to know as a hack because Safeway literally never has the Annie's that he likes, and so I always have to like make do.
No, do we have half? Like literally pour half out, close it back up, put it in the fridge, use it on regular noodles.
Oh my God, I really love mac and cheese.
Mom hack.
That is a mom hack.
Thank you.
I love that.
I wouldn't need to eat mac and cheese today.
You know
Yeah.
what though? It has vegetable powder.
The good old stuff?
Eat variety of vegetables.
I don't at all believe that that's good. Like, nutritionally, it's fine.
Powdered processed.
And it's like the last ingredient. It's like vegetable powder. Yeah. And it's like chickpea.
Yeah.
So you can eat
Protein.
Go get the, what is that? The chickpea guy.
Monzo?
Bonza.
I love
Oh, yeah.
Pour that shit on it. Yeah. You got
Bingo
to
bango.
How old is he turning?
5.
Aw.
I am so excited. I get to go to his birthday party.
It's gonna
I'm
be
just
next level.
excited about the pound shows.
AKA, you're gonna be at our house while I frantically clean.
Oh, I would love to help.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
just let me help.
I'm so excited for that.
I will help.
Don't worry.
Gotta go get a bunch of ice cream sandwiches.
Oh,
All the stuff.
yeah. Let me do as much as you need. I can drive you around. You introduced me with your assistant yesterday, so I am.
I know, that's how I snuck her into the speaker's lounge.
And then actually,
Earlier today on like the third.
oh, good. You got onto the third floor. Oh my God.
Wasn't it like game changing? Because I was in the speaker, I was in like the speaker green room or whatever, and I was like, oh, this is fine. And then I went upstairs to the third floor, and I was like, wow.
It was so chill.
I was like, this is where things are. Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever stop talking about this now, but I got rejected from it, the leadership thing, and I'm just gonna be offended forever.
Not next year, once you have your fancy title that you can put in your resume.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's wild.
That is, that's what's going to be. That's wild. Maybe
Well, I
I'll come
wouldn't-
next year and just go hang out in the lounge the whole time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was so nice.
Ah.
They did a headshot
We
of
did
us
them together.
together.
I felt it so fun.
And
First, I was like, I can't believe it. And like, and we tried.
we were like,
Yeah. And then
we are sweet. We're like, yes, we will just morph into a single human now. That's so fun.
it was fun.
We're trying, we're doing this whole thing. This is a thing.
And the podcast.
Do you guys tape like the back to back?
Oh, not yet.
Like, you got to do that photo where like one of you like
We
hi-
should,
like
yeah.
hugs from
And
behind.
we had like the pose.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, good.
Or like the I'm announcing my new baby pose.
Oh, we need to go back.
Okay. Yeah, I think Gavin would be fine with that.
Yeah. It's a little lot.
Yeah. Well, we did it, guys.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Config 2024.
Yeah, Config
Promised we would
2024. We did it.
Conferencing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Config.
Thank you, Figma.
Thank you. Thank you, Figma.
We're having a
for
great
the-
time.
We are. Yeah.
Fantastic. Could use some more coffee.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
Thank you so much, Jess. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you to my two favorite Jesses.
Oh,
Love these guys.